Before I had a separate one, whereas I could actually, boy, I'm just a little, see here what's going on here. Hey, Carlton, can you see what I got on the sheet on the stream?
If that was for me, yes, sir. We can see you sharing your screen.
Okay, all right, good deal. Hey, thanks a lot. So just let me know when we're ready to rock and roll. I got
you guys are ready. You guys are good to go whenever you're ready.
Okay, all right. Lisa, can you hear me? Lisa?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm getting ready to go ahead and get you started, okay?
Okay, am I going first?
Well, I got you down as first, so
Okay, that's perfect.
so can you see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. We ready to rock and roll. It's on you. It's your show.
Oh,
Carlton said
so
we can go.
tell me, do I start now?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's all yours, Lisa.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Lisa Washington, and I am a member of the Kokomo branch of the NAACP, and I am the health chair. And this morning, I am going to talk a little about the impact of COVID-19 on Indiana and how it relates to the veterans' health. You can go to the third slide if you would like to for me, Willie. So everyone is probably familiar with COVID-19, but I did want to just go over a little of the history, because a lot of times people are unclear. We've done several town halls and Facebook Live events that talk about the vaccine and why in particular some of the African American and minority populations might be a little resistant to that vaccine. But I did want to share a little bit about the connection between SARS and the COVID-2 vaccine or virus, excuse me. So what we know about the coronavirus in terms of what people experience, it's thought most people experience some moderate respiratory illnesses, and hopefully most people experience that without any special treatment. But what we know that happened in the early days of the pandemic was that we had populations in the country, and usually those were people who had comorbid, or we say underlying health conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, cancer, that did not fare as well. So if we look historically, we know that the SARS virus has been with us for quite some time. There were some early reports of this as far back as the 1930s. In 1961, we know that the coronavirus is typically what we think of as one of those viruses associated with the common cold. So they've been studying this as far back as the 30s into the 60s. And you'll see on the screen there, they've got a lot of numbers and letters, B814. But they have been studying it for quite some time. And if you want to, Willie, kind of go to that next slide for me, please. So when we talk about kind of some of the recent things, so there was SARS did hit our country several years ago. So COVID is kind of, they have been studying that as a result of the SARS that was going on. So in late in 2019 is when we first became aware of the connection. So there were 27 individuals in Wuhan, China, who had a viral pneumonia. And as they collected samples, you'll see that how the scientists have been studying this for quite some time. And if you a lot of people have been following Dr. Fauci in terms of what he said. There is a 60 Minutes interview that he gave several years back before COVID-19, and they knew that they thought that there would be a kind of a super virus that was going to hit. They weren't sure the specifics of it, but we now know that that was the coronavirus. So in 2000, in February of 2020, they identified COVID-19. And of course, shortly after that is when lots of the counties and countries went into what we kind of called the lockdown or the pandemic shutdown. And then, and that wasn't just Indiana or the county that we live in, that happened worldwide. There's been lots of supposition of where it started. And so that is something that is going to be unknown. The thought is that it was I think a lot of people think, the scientists think that it was transmitted from animals. So if you want to go to the next slide for me, please. So just to give you an idea of how this has affected us, we know that we've had millions and millions of cases. And last week, we topped over 750,000 deaths. When we look at Indiana, Indiana is a state of about 7 million. And we have had close to 17,000 deaths. So we are still continuing to test. We are still continuing to give the vaccine out. I think the latest that we are going through right now is they are going to be offering the Pfizer to children 5 to 11, and those clinics are being set up in counties. And we certainly encourage people to continue with that. As far as veterans, we certainly recommend anybody with a comorbid or an underlying health condition to get the vaccination. And there are also boosters that are being offered, and you can go to Our Shot and get signed up for that, or 211 also. So there are going to be lots of clinics and churches. I know here in Howard County, we do have a local church, Second Missionary Baptist, that's going to be doing the clinic along with the testing. So please keep an eye out in your community so that you may get tested. And if you have any questions, please reach out to your healthcare provider or to a medical provider to get any of your questions answered. If you can go ahead and go to that next slide for me, please. So we are here in Kokomo, and that's Howard County. So I do encourage you to find out what your county looks like. We still, if you are an unvaccinated person, we encourage you to please make sure you're wearing your mask when you are going out, because as you can tell, in some of the counties do look like this, because Indiana is not a state that has a high vaccination rate. So for our county, about half of our county is fully vaccinated. And we're looking at the overall county here, and I did break it down for the African-American population. And these are the latest statistics. So these are as of 10/31. 52% of females are vaccinated, 45% of males. When we break that apart and we look at the African-American community, 42% of African Americans are vaccinated here in Howard County. We have 45% of the females, a little over 12, close to 1,300, and 38% of the males. So what we know is we have worked with 10-point coalition here in Howard County, as I said, putting on some town hall meetings, and NAACP, the fraternities, sororities, to try and get the word out. The age groups that we know that we need to target are those that are less than 50, so teens. We'll have to see how the vaccinations go with children. And then as far as the older population is fairly well vaccinated. And then I think you can go to the next slide. So then the vaccinations themselves. So Moderna, when we look at the vaccination, how well does it protect? It's at the upper 90s. Pfizer is in the 95%, and Johnson & Johnson is in the 70 to 80%. So the boosters are available for Moderna and Pfizer, if you got the 2 shots, and for Johnson & Johnson. So there have been lots of questions about natural immunity. We know that the people that are landing in our intensive care units and in the ERs and the hospitals, by far over 90% of those people are unvaccinated people. So that is why we are encouraging people to be vaccinated. We are just coming off of fall break, and we will be entering Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we are hoping that we don't see a huge increase in our numbers, but that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. I think next slide. So the other thing for coronavirus, and there's been lots of public service on this, but just knowing the symptoms. So one of the hallmarks is the fevers and the chills. So if you start to experiencing fevers, along with a cough, difficulty breathing, if you start to have body aches, vomiting or diarrhea, and a loss of taste or smell. So we encourage people to get tested if they have not had the vaccine, or we know that there are some people who are having breakthrough from the vaccine. The Delta virus, the Delta variant of the virus, we know in the last couple months has caused some people, because we had a large amount of the population that was not vaccinated, that did cause some problems. And there was some talk of the alpha virus, so we're keeping an eye out for that. So again, people can, this can be life-threatening. So COVID-19 is a serious medical emergency if people get really sick. They can end up on a vent if not everyone does, but if they do get sick enough. So if you need more information, you can go to the CDC or your healthcare provider. And then I did just want, I think I have one more slide, Willie. I wanted to talk a little bit just about, so if we talk about African Americans and veterans, there's some things I always think that people need to know, because as we have tracked the people who have been getting the vaccine, we know that there are some common underlying conditions that make people a little more vulnerable to COVID-19. So one, particularly for minorities and African Americans, we know that hypertension or high blood pressure is one of those. So ideally, doctors like to see our blood pressure, our top number 120, bottom number 80. Remember 120, that's when your heart is doing the most work. So we don't want your heart working any harder than it has to. And that second number is when it relaxes. And so again, we don't want it working any harder than it has to. For African Americans, we say we should not have more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium. So again, please keep an eye on how much sodium that you are taking in each day. A 1,500 milligrams sits somewhere between a half a teaspoon and 3/4 of a teaspoon. So that's not very much. And particularly if you eat out a lot, that's where you will see that you can get a lot of sodium. There are certain foods that just like in one sitting, you can get a lot of sodium in them. For instance, things like a pickle. A pickle itself has 900 milligrams, and there are things that we can do to decrease the amount of sodium. As I work with some of the community members, I tell them things like, if you're going to have canned goods, you can wash some of the sodium off of your food. We say fresh is best, frozen is next, and canned is the third, but that's another one. And the next one is if you're a diabetic or you're a pre-diabetic. So we have about 31 million Americans who are diabetic, and we have about 85 million people who are pre-diabetic. So that's about a third of the population of the United States. African Americans, that is one of the risk factors alone by itself. If you're over the age of 45, that's a risk factor. Family history is another risk factor. So we know that as African Americans, we have a little higher risk factor. So I do encourage people that when you go see your healthcare provider, that you ask if you've had labs drawn what your numbers are, particularly your glucose and your A1C. I saw someone yesterday, and we know that when your hemoglobin A1C, so that is that number that the doctor will sometimes every few months draw on you just to see where your blood sugar management is. If it is 6 or higher, you are considered a diabetic. If you have a fasting blood glucose of 126 or higher, you're considered a diabetic. So we know that even if you have a family history and you have some of those risk factors, there are things that we can do to decrease, even if you're pre-diabetic, to decrease your risk for developing diabetes. So one of those is we say carb counting. For most of us, well, for all of us, if we look at the carbs that we're taking in every day, and a lot of African American traditional dishes have a lot of carbs in them. So those are things like our breads, some of our like black-eyed peas, the fried foods that we eat. We want to make sure that we're having approximately 45 to 60 carbs at each meal. And it's also important for us to be eating 3 meals a day with 2 healthy snacks. So I work for Indiana Minority Healthcare, and we have coalitions in many counties throughout the state. And we do employ a DEEP program. So that's a diabetic education program. And we do get into a lot of this a little bit more. And then we also talk about the importance of exercising. So exercising, American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes of exercising a day, or a week, sorry, not a day, a week. We know that that has heart benefit, but it also is good in managing your blood sugar. So that is, I think, most of what I have. So I will turn it back over to Willie.
Well, thank you so very much, Lisa. That was excellent overview, great report. It's really good to be in a position to provide statistics as it's related to COVID-19, and at the same time, you start looking at the diverse population, and Lisa, for the most part, she focused on the African American, and that's one thing that we're trying to understand. We're trying to promote as much as possible to let everyone know the importance of taking the COVID-19, and it's not just about you. It's about you, your family, your surroundings, and the more people that we can get as part of this, I think it's going to be all good for everyone long term. But I guess at this point, I don't know how we're going to address if there's any questions. Carrington, is that something that are we in a position to address at this point? Mr. Carrington.
Yes, I'm sorry. Say it again.
No, my comment, I was just saying that Lisa just finished her presentation. I just made some little commentary on her presentation. I guess, are we in a position to address any questions? I know I don't see anything in the chat room in terms if there are questions, because our next presenter, I think Roger Tolliver is now on as well, and he'll be able to introduce our next speaker.
Okay. You guys are more than welcome to address any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat. So the questions will come through Facebook or YouTube, so you can check those channels to see if there are any questions for you all.
Okay, let me see if I can do that right quick. Let me do some multitasking just before I see Rosie, you are there, right?
Yes, Rozzy is in the call. But after you guys have confirmed whether or not you have any questions, feel free to go on into your next part of the call.
Okay, let me just do a quick check here and see if I can identify if there's anyone that may have questions, because she gave so much very, very good, relevant information about COVID-19, and that was the whole purpose in providing an update to everyone from our perspective. And I know she sort of focused on how COVID-19, and that was the whole purpose in providing an update. Okay, I don't, let me see here again. No, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. So, Rozzy, are we in a position now, Carrington, to introduce Rozzy so he can introduce the next speaker?
Yes, sir. Feel free.
Okay, hey, Rozzy, can you hear me? You're on mute, Rozzy. Hello, Rozzy? Let me text him, make sure he's, I see he's on, but so he is connected. Rozzy, President Rozzy.
You want me to text him?
Yeah, why don't you text him for me, Lisa? I just want to make sure that we get him connected. Because I know John is the next speaker, unless he's going to talk about veterans first. Because we got a combination of veterans benefits, health, and COVID-19. I know State Representative John Bartlett was supposed to come on. So Carrington, just bear with us there. I know we got until 11 o'clock to get this thing finalized.
Okay, I just texted him.
Okay. Now he's not on now.
Yeah, he just left. You still on? Okay, I sent him another text.
Okay. Sometimes these things can be a little challenging, and I understand. You run into so many problems. That's just like going to the doctor's office. They can respond because they have so many different things that they see over and over again.
We're still live, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I can't get unmute. See, can you well, he's not on there, but I guess he's asking.
Hey, Carrington, can you unmute Rozzy? I don't even see him connected right now.
I cannot unmute anyone.
Okay.
But when they get on, we can help troubleshoot problems.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, he needs to
Okay,
get
so
on first.
sign on.
If he can get on, then we can do. Yeah, matter of fact, I can do it. I can see it.
See you.
Yeah, right. Okay, he's in the waiting room now. Let's see what we can do now. I'm gonna admit him. Okay, he should be on. Rozzy, can you hear me? Try to unmute Rozzy. Let me.
Okay.
Unmute. I just hit him again.
Try to unmute using mic. It's the mic button, right?
Yes.
And it should be on his far left.
At the top. Yes, exactly. Even maybe he's gonna give an update for John because I don't even see John. It should be Rozzy and John coming on at this point. See, we did the part for the health and COVID-19. Rozzy, can you hear me? I just unmuted him on my end.
Let's see. I don't think it's John Bartlett, right?
Right.
Let me see.
Bartlett. I don't see him.
It says I can't unmute. Let me see if I can find. I had his card once, but legislators.
I'm gonna send him. See if you can hear this.
Bartlett. Oh, those are senators. Okay, representatives. John Bartlett. That's just.
Also, Rozzy, we can try. If you can hear us, go ahead and type in the chat that you can at least hear us.
It says
yeah, that's
the
good
mute.
idea.
He says the mute button has a red line through it. Let me see.
Yes, that's. Can you
Yes.
click it? Yeah.
If you can click that button, you should be unmuted.
Yeah. Right.
And it won't work.
Oh, it's not. Let me see here.
Try clicking. It's just once, right?
Right. Right.
Just once.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just sending him a message. I'm asking, can he share his video?
When I click it, it kicks me off meeting.
Oh boy. Let me try something else here.
What about, well, yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
Rozzy, do you have a webcam connected or some type of video device where we can at least see you? We might be able to help you walk through some troubleshooting process.
Can he call? Is there a phone number he can call
Yeah, yep.
to at least call in?
Yes, ma'am. I can forward you all the link, and then you can send it to him for him to dial in.
You gonna put it in the chat?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, please.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Hey,
send him another note.
Willie, you need me to do anything else?
Not yet. Won't you just hold tight there for a second?
Okay.
We leave.
Well, just let me know, because I was
Okay.
going to go to Deacon King's funeral.
Oh, that is right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
But I'll stay as long as you need me to.
Okay. Let's see if we can get him connected first,
Yep.
because you've been helping me.
I certainly will. I mean, I know sometimes people can call in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can email you this as well. If putting it in the chat is too much. So if you want to provide your email, I can email it to you.
Oh, yes, I see it now. Yeah. Let me see here. Well, I just sent him the whole thing. And tell there is a number that he can dial into. I just gave him the whole shebang here. Hopefully he sees it.
Yeah.
And I just sent it to you too, Lisa, in the chat.
Okay.
That way, once we get them squared away, then you can just go ahead and take off. I'm just trying to make sure that he has all the necessary information.
Yeah.
See, there's a telephone number there. You get the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
You get your ID, you got everything he needs there if he wants to just call.
Okay.
And I've got your first slide up because this is what it sort of represent what we're doing. Man, he's gone again. Maybe he's gonna call. Carrington, we certainly appreciate what you're doing. We have these kind of hiccups sometimes. Certainly
Yes,
appreciate
sir. Yes, sir. I fully understand. Let me know if you guys need any more help. You guys' session is scheduled to end at 12 or 11, excuse me.
Yeah,
So,
at 11.
yes, sir.
So we'll see what happens. We only have about 13 minutes left. $18 minutes and counting. Now, Brother King's funeral, what time does it start, Lisa? You're on mute, Lisa. You're on mute.
No. I just
Say hi to Willie, honey. He's lost Willie. Okay, I'll call you, honey.
The funeral starts, what, is it 11?
Yeah.
Brother King, okay. Let's see if we can get Roger on here very shortly. If he doesn't.
I'm in my office, Willie, so I'm literally just a few minutes away from
Okay,
the church.
gotcha. Okay. Nice background there.
Yeah, you gotta come in. I got new
see.
stuff in my office.
Yeah, I see. It looks nice. I like to see the before and now.
Yeah.
Looks nice. I'm just wondering if he's gonna, because he's only gonna have about 17 minutes before we have to go to the next session.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. So I know for Howard County, we did meet with Buck. And what Buck told us that on the Senate side, they were going to be putting up is they were going to be putting something up on critical race theory. He did not
really?
elaborate. Yep. He didn't elaborate on what that was going to be. I don't have that paper in front of me. But that was the one that stood out to me because I thought, I was curious. He didn't want to give, he either didn't have details or he didn't want to give details.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
All I can say is no comment.
Yeah. So Tracy Martino is going, she said they come to town once a month, all Buck, Karakoff, Van Adder, and is there the fourth one?
Those are the
three?
Yes.
Three. Okay. So she said all three of them come and give a town hall every month. And I said, oh, he said it. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Because I've been like trying to catch it with Chamber of Commerce.
I know.
And so she told me she's going to send it to me. So she said she hadn't gotten it yet.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So that's what I know that he told me. He wrote, there was one more thing he wrote down. And I think it had to do with opioids. Yeah. Because they started talking, they talked a lot with the sheriff because Sheriff Asher was there. And they talked a lot about the jail.
Right.
And SOC and some of the funding. But I'll see if I can pull that paper up.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to.
So that, I don't know if that counts for legislative, but that's what I know.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very good.
I sent him the number. Computers.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah. It does. Not much you can do about it.
I'm just gonna let him know we only have about 13 minutes left.
I'll go back on the, let me see what it says on FaceTime. Well, I can share my video.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And then I read a comment. Sorry.
Hey, Carrington, this is Willie Stroman again. Can you see approximate how many viewers that we may have?
Yes, sir. I can look. Give me 1 second.
Okay, certainly.
Sorry for computer issues. Unable to connect
Oh, he may be having home Wi-Fi issues then.
for second part.
You have 6 viewers currently.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just sent him a note indicating we only have about 13 minutes left. And if you can't come do anything very soon, we're just gonna go ahead and call it a wrap. And sometimes that's very understandable, that's for sure.
The age of Zoom.
Yeah. So it sounds like he can't even get on now. Is that correct, Lisa? Based on
Yeah, he said that no. 1, 3, 1, 2, 6, 2, 6, 2, 6, 6, 7, 9, 9. He said that number, excuse me. He said that number won't let him on.
Well, I don't know. There's probably not too much more we can do. So at least as far as I'm concerned at this point, I know you down pretty close to where you need to go, but in either case, I want to say thank you so very much. Appreciate the very wonderful presentation, the update, and hopefully those that's listening had an opportunity to understand some of the key things that we're focusing in in trying to address the COVID-19 vaccinations, and just going to try to move the bar as much as we can. We'll continue to communicate these issues in our community, and we may have another, webinar, something of that nature to come up to try to keep everyone in the loop. So again, thank you so very much, Lisa. And
Thank you very much.
And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Carrollton, I think what I'm going to do now, we can just wait and see if something happens, because as the 11 o'clock hour began to approach us, I think we're going to have to miss out on that piece of it because of some technical difficulties that our president was having in connecting.
Yes, sir. So I'll wait on the call, and then whenever you leave, I'll go ahead and end the call. So
okay, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna send him a quick message just to let him know that's exactly what we're doing.
yes, sir.
Hey, Rozzy.
Hey, yeah, man. Thanks a lot. You guys did a good job. You told them, but they so hard-headed they wouldn't listen.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. That's what happens sometimes.
So I am not. I'm not mad. Anything else? Because
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Thanks for calling me. I know we tried all kind of avenues to make it happen, and sometimes that's part of technology. So, oh, okay. So you talked to John. Okay. Well, I'll let Carrollton know that we'll go ahead and call it so he can go ahead and prepare for the next session.
Sounds good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye.